Welcome back to another episode of the Quarantine Diaries, day 40. Let's start with our verse of the week.
Today's scripture reading comes from Psalms 23. The Lord is my shepherd, I lack nothing. He makes me lie down in green pastures. He leads me beside the quiet waters, and he refreshes my soul. He guides me along the right paths for his name's sake. Even though I walk through the darkest valley, I will fear no evil, for you are with me. Your rod and your staff, they comfort me. You prepare a table before me in the presence of my enemies. You anoint my head with oil, my cup overflows. Surely your goodness and love will follow me all the days of my life, and I will dwell in the house of the Lord forever.
Awesome. Thanks, Alex. Well, it's Friday, so it's time to reveal our Trivia Tuesday winners. And this week, no trick question. We had two winners, Leslie and Ike. Congratulations, you answered correctly. There are 7 births foretold in Scripture, and 7 different people. Those were Ishmael, Isaac, Samson, Josiah, the Shunammite woman's son, John the Baptist, and Jesus. We'll talk a little bit about that later on. The second half of the Trivia Tuesday question: when you think of a biblical number, what comes to mind? We had someone say 666, the number of the beast. Okay, had somebody say the number 7, a perfect and complete number, just like the number of births foretold. Somebody said the number 3. There's a lot of 3s in Scripture. But today I want us to think about the number 40. The number 40 in Scripture has so much significance. Something in Scripture to pay attention to when the number 40 is involved. Just a few of these. This is not an exhaustive list, just a few that we can mention really quick. If you remember, Jesus, Moses, and Elijah all fasted for 40 days and were in the wilderness. There were 40 years of wandering for the Israelites, and a whole generation was represented by the number 40. Ezekiel laid on his side for 40 days in a row. Saul, David, and Solomon all reigned for 40 years apiece. Goliath taunted Israel for 40 days. The flood lasted for 40 days. Jonah preached to Nineveh for 40 days. A lot of the judges served for 40 days, including Gideon. And there's a ton more, so on your own time, look into those. Very, very fascinating, but just remember that there's something to pay close attention to with the number 40. It seems like a time of testing sometimes, or just a complete number. And remember, just like the story of Gideon, just like the story of Samson, just like the story of all of the judges and all of the Old Testament characters combined, God never works the same way twice. He uses each individual's skills, he uses their talents, he uses the places that only he can put them, where they have relationships or where they have influence. Remember, we talked about this sin cycle where God always delivers his people. And so keep that in mind. I encourage you to look at more numbers in Scripture, try to figure some of those out, and we will talk about those later on in the show. But just keep in mind the number 40 and the importance of that has something to do with deliverance.